Hey, welcome to the next installment in my Fruits Basket reading vlog. I am going to start reading Volume 4 today. I finished Volume 3 late last night, so I can finally move on to this one. If you guys have not seen the first episode of this vlog series I'm doing, then I will link the first one on the screen so you can catch up if you want to. Have not read anything yet today. I've been just not doing much of anything, but I have not been reading, so I need to get on that. And I look like I just got run over by a truck today. What is going on with my hair? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna look better later because I do plan to film some videos today, so I'll have the makeup on, I'll have the hair done, so I'm looking forward to that. Which I'll probably be doing that, probably be filming around sometime in the evening, probably 7 or 8. So for that reason, I really need to start reading, continuing this series right now because I probably won't have time later. So I need to get on that. Right now, though, I am going to finish outlining or scripting the discussion I'm going to film today for The Darkest Star. I started scripting that yesterday, but I need to finish. I do script my discussion videos so that I don't leave anything out and don't miss any points that I wanted to go over, so I need to get back to that. So I'm going to do that first before I get to Volume 4. And later today I will be filming my discussion on Volume 2 and maybe 3 if my discussions aren't too long, so this video won't be too long. So I'm also going to be doing that today. So that is my plan. I'm going to go, and when I am ready to pick up Volume 4, I'll come back and give you guys an update. So see you later. Hey, I am back, and we are finally going to get into a discussion for one of the volumes. I never got to discuss Volume 2 in the last vlog, episode 1, so I'm going to do it here. So let's start off with the first chapter. In the first chapter, her friends, Ua and Hana, finally come over to the Soma's house. She has told them that she is staying with them, and of course Ua loses her crap. She is you have been living with these 3 guys without even telling us. She has a right to be angry. That's a big change for her, but she didn't even tell her closest friends. While they are over, Toru finds out that Shigure is a novelist. That's not something he's ever expressed before, and I love her reaction to when she finds out that he writes books. She is just in awe of him. She is just thinks he's the greatest thing ever. It's so cute. And then Yuki and Kyo are don't inflate his ego. Because really he does not need an ego boost. Shigure is so full of himself sometimes, but I love that he's a writer because I too love to write, and he has a passion for writing books and manga. That is just awesome. And then when they ask him what kind of books do you write, he pulls out a steamy romance book, and then he's oh wait, no, this is just something I was working on the side. This is my actual work. And then Kyo is calling him a perv. There are men who do write romance novels. It's not that weird, but Kyo and Yuki just think it's weird coming from him because, Shigure is a weirdo sometimes. I absolutely love the part when Kyo is at school, and it's during the time when they're trying to figure out what they want to do for the cultural festival, how they're going to sell rice balls, and all of a sudden, Kyo is having a fit, and all of these cats come into the classroom and just hang all over him, and everyone's where did these cats come from? And I would be the same because they're never shown how these cats got into the room. All we're shown is that they are just suddenly on Kyo. And then he runs out of the classroom, goes up to the roof, and Toru follows him. And he's just there hanging out with these cats who won't leave him alone. And we figure out that's because sometimes with the Zodiac members, their animal will just come and will be drawn to them at random times, which I think is so adorable. Especially so cute seeing Kyo with all these cute little cats when he's such a tough guy, and he just like, yeah, they just come to me. I would absolutely love for random cats to come to me randomly at any time. I would just welcome it, but Kyo is just like, thinks it's so annoying, but I'm like, they're so cute. It's this part when we finally are told by Kyo that he is jealous of Yuki because he gets to be a part of the Zodiac. And in the last episode I mentioned how Yuki is jealous of Kyo because he doesn't have to be a part of this family because he's an outcast. So it's still kind of funny how they're just so jealous of each other. They admire each other, but they are mean to each other because of that. But really, they just secretly admire each other. And that's something that Toru expresses too. So their dynamic is just really interesting in that way. There's this conversation between Toru and Kyo that I really love. It is when Toru is feeling like Kyo doesn't see the good qualities in himself. She uses this illustration with a rice ball that I really love, and I think I'll just read it right from the manga because she says it so well. And this is when she is talking to Kyo. So she says, if you think of someone's good qualities as the plum in a rice ball, it's as if their qualities are stuck to their back. People around the world are like rice balls. Everyone has a plum with a different shape and color and flavor, but because it's stuck on their back, they might not be able to see their plum. Maybe the reason people get jealous of each other is because they can see so clearly the plum on other people's back. There's an amazing plum. I can see it perfectly on your back, Kyo. And I just love that because it's just such a cute illustration, but it also is like so true. Like, we can see amazing qualities in another person, but not see them in ourselves. And Toru is like, well, maybe that's because they are on your back. And by like the illustration that the plum is on your back, the special plum, she's implying that we don't always see the good qualities in ourselves, but other people will see them and let us know that they are there. And I just love that. And I love how she tells that to Kyo because he is like, he has so many self-confidence issues. He is not confident in himself at all, so I love how she says that to them. And then after she tells this to him, of course he blushes and just kind of like flips out because he's like embarrassed, and it's just like, oh, it's so cute. And then after that, he tells her, I can see the plum on your back, and I just like melted. Oh my god. He's so sweet. Like, when he tries to be so tough and like so mean, but then like a minute later he'll say the sweetest thing, and he only does it with Toru though, because he still has such a soft spot for her, and I just love that so much. Hattori also shows up in this volume, and I love Hattori. I love his backstory, I love his character. He's very serious, but at the same time so interesting and just such a great guy, even though he can come off a little intimidating. And Momiji also shows up, and Momiji is so adorable. He is the rabbit, and he shows up at the cultural festival and makes kind of a ruckus. When he meets Toru, he gets so excited, and he is like, I can hug you because you know about the curse. And Kyo is like, you can't hug her in public with people that you can't transform in front of people, but he doesn't care and he hugs her anyway. And then he changes into this adorable rabbit. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've expressed how much I love bunnies. I used to have 2 bunnies, and I love them to death. I love rabbits. I love keeping them as pets, even though they can be kind of smelly, but they are just so cute. So I love Momiji because of that, because he's the rabbit. And I also love how he loves Toru right away. I absolutely adore their relationship. The funniest thing is in this volume is when the seniors make Yuki put on a dress during the cultural festival, and he is like so embarrassed, but he looks like such a girl that it's so funny. I felt kind of bad for him though. And then Toru calls him cute because she thinks he looks so cute in that dress, and then Yuki's like, it's not cool for someone to call a man cute. But then she's like, well, my mom would always tell me I was cute, and I always remember it would make me so happy, and so that kind of softens Yuki a bit. And then he says, if you put on this dress, you would be very cute. You would be so pretty, and that was really sweet. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Yuki, but like if he's sweet to Toru, I'm all for that because I love Toru so much. And I was like, damn right, she would be cute in that dress. She would be cute in literally anything because she's just one of the most adorable girls ever. We also find out that Hattori is the one who suppresses people's memories. He's the one who takes people's memories away. And I'm not sure if that's true. Does the dragon, because Hattori is the dragon in the zodiac, the seahorse, does each generation, is the dragon the one who takes away the memories, or is it each generation is it another member of the zodiac? Manga never really explains that, like who's the one each generation that takes away the memories. Is it only the dragon, or is it another member of the zodiac? I'm not really sure on that. So I'm just assuming that every generation it's the seahorse or the dragon that takes away the memories, but that really added to Hattori's character. It made him come off as even more intimidating. And so Yuki tells her, like, you should not be alone with Hattori because he could take away your memories at any moment. So, and then of course, right after that, Hattori calls her to the school office and tells her to meet him at the Soma estate because he needs to talk to her. And that's when lots of stuff is revealed, so let's move on to that. So she gets to the Soma house, the Soma estate, and the Soma estate is like its own city. It is huge. I remember seeing the anime and being like, oh my god, this place is like its own town. It's kind of cool. It's just amazing how huge this family is. Like, I don't think families are usually that big, but the Soma family is just so large. And so large that they have their own, pretty much their own city. It's pretty cool. Hattori tells Toru, Akito is trying to use you. And that's the first time she's hearing about this. He's trying to use you by letting you stay with Shigure, Akio, and Yuki. That's why he's telling her you need to leave the house, because he doesn't want her to get hurt. And she doesn't really understand that right away. It is not until Momiji tells Toru Hattori's backstory, which is super, super sad. And long story short on his backstory. So he met, I think it was his assistant, Kana, who is part of the Soma family, but they had never met before. So eventually they fall in love. So much so that they plan to get married, and when Hattori asks Akito permission to marry her, he goes insane and throws a vase at Hattori, permanently damaging his eye. He's practically blind in one eye. And then Akito blames it on Kana, saying that it's her fault that he got hurt because he chose her to marry him, and that led to Akito hurting him when it's not her fault at all. But she is so overcome with grief that he got hurt that she wishes they had never met. And that leads to Akito demanding that Hattori take away her memories. So he does, to put her out of her misery, so that she can forget about him, and that way she won't be in pain that she thinks she caused him to get hurt. It is just heartbreaking. He was so in love with this girl, and then it's just taken away just like that. And the saddest part is that she gets to forget, but he will never forget their relationship. He will always be hung up on her when she doesn't remember their relationship at all. And it's also revealed that she is getting married to someone else. And Hattori, being just the amazing guy he is so happy for her. He always wanted her to find someone, so when he finds out that she is getting married, he is just so supportive and happy, and that made me happy, but also sad at the same time because he was so in love with her. Oh, it just broke my heart. And he also mentions that he forgives Akito. But the reason he does is because that's just the curse, which is, it's so sad because all the members of the Zodiac are so obligated to Akito because he is the head that they can't ever leave him. They want to, but because of the curse, because he's their leader, the curse draws them to him. And so they can never leave him. And when he does something bad to them, they have to forgive him because that's the curse. The curse pulls them to do that. So it's so sad that they can never get away from him when Akito just hurts them so bad all the time. But at the same time, they'll still never leave him because that's just the nature of the curse. So Hattori forgives him instantly, even though he recognizes that this is wrong. He can't leave him. He can't be mad at him, and that's just how the curse works. It's very disturbing and really sad. It must make the members of the Zodiac feel so trapped. So this novel takes place during New Year's, and New Year's is such an important thing to the Soma family, obviously because they are members of the Zodiac, and the Zodiac has a huge thing to do with New Year's in Japanese culture. So because of that, each year, all of the members of the Zodiac have a banquet, just like the folktale, except for Kyo can't go, which also goes in line with the folktale because the cat missed out on the Zodiac banquet. So because of that, as tradition, Kyo isn't invited, which he doesn't really care that much. He's like, I wouldn't go anyway. But all of the members have to go. But because Toru was going to be alone during New Year's Eve, Kyo and Yuki decide to stay with her after they find out that she usually spent every New Year's Day and Eve with her mother. And because her mom is dead, she is spending New Year's alone this year. And so they just feel terrible. And then when they get back to the house, they find her crying next to a picture of her mother, and it just broke my heart so much. I was so glad that they decided to skip out on the banquet and go to Toru because she needed to be with someone. She shouldn't have been alone during New Year's, so they are there for her, which is so awesome. I love how much they love Toru enough to face getting in trouble by their family by skipping out on the banquet, something that is tradition, to be with this girl so she would not be alone on New Year's. It was just so, so sweet. I love that. The last few pages of this volume also goes over Hattori and Kana's story, and I swear this, for some reason, Fruits Basket just has so many good illustrations and analogies. I just love them. Another one is how Hattori views himself as a really cold person because he kind of is. I mean, deep down he is a good guy and can be very sweet, but he can also be cold. And he feels like because he's the one who takes away people's memories, he's super cold. Even though usually he isn't. He's really nice. So because of that, he associates himself with winter and snow. And he says when Kana came into his life, she was like spring because she melted away the coldness that was inside him. And oh my god, that illustration is just so beautiful and romantic. I love it so much. And he realizes this after she asks him, when the snow melts, what does it become? And he's like, well, it becomes water, even though that is true, but she's like, no, it becomes spring, and that's where he got that illustration. Oh my gosh, so, so cute. I love how Kana, like, melted the coldness inside him. I mean, that just gives me, oh, so many feelings. And then when Hattori bumps into Toru, like, on the street, she asks him, when the snow melts, what does it become? And she says, it becomes spring. How did she know that, though? Like, she's never met Kana before. She just came up with that on her own, and then Hattori is like, falls a little bit more in love with her, which was just so, so beautiful. It's in that moment where we really see how Hattori is just such a nice person, even though at first he comes off as really tough, really intimidating, but deep down he's such a good guy, and I love how his character grows overall in this series. He is actually one of my favorite characters in this book. He's the most serious, really damaged, and the most difficult person to read, but he lets his guard down a lot throughout this series, so I really appreciate his character, and I love seeing him grow throughout this entire manga series. So that's where that volume ends. That is the end of volume 2. I was going to discuss volume 3 in this clip along with volume 2, but it is currently almost 10:30, so everyone in my house is about to go to bed, and I don't want to, talk and talk and talk while they can hear me because they're trying to sleep. So I'm gonna just stop this here. I might still talk about Volume 3 in this vlog. I need to edit this vlog right now and just see how long this video is going on because I don't want it to be too long. But either way, discussion for Volume 3 will be coming out really soon. Right now, I have yet to finish Volume 4, so I'm going to go back into reading that volume before I go to bed and hopefully finish it before I go to sleep. So that is my plan right now, and this will probably be the last clip for today, which is day 4? 5? Is this day 5? I don't know, I need to check. So I think it's day 5, so I'll be back tomorrow for day 6. Hey, so it is day 6. I have not picked up any fruits basket today. Oh wait, actually, did I? Was that today or yesterday? No, I finished volume 4 today. No, it was last night. I have been tired all day. My brain is not working. Yes, I finished volume 4 last night, and I will be doing a discussion on that one soon. So I have not read any manga today because I wanted to discuss volumes 3 and 4 before I moved on, so that I can keep up with my discussion without moving on to future volumes, so I'm not getting ahead of myself. So yeah. Right now I'm going to be discussing volume 3, which is, you know, probably my favorite volume because Kyo is on the cover. I mean, I'm that shallow. I was putting this book on my shelf on display just because he's on the cover. I mean, I'm not even kidding when I say, I'm obsessed with Kyo Soma so much. I love him so much. He's my boy. Okay, let's just get into this discussion. So, in this one, it starts off with them talking about the endurance run at school, and that's like a school race, and it's probably during their physical education PE, and Kyo gets so excited because he sees it as a challenge to beat Yuki since they'll be racing together, so he just gets so excited to hopefully beat him, but Yuki comes down with a cold. And Kyo is like, I don't care if you have a cold, we are doing this endurance run. He doesn't even care that he is sick, which, they don't get along, so kind of understandable how he wouldn't even care. And then Toru is just so worried about him. She's like, you shouldn't go to school, which he shouldn't have because something bad happens to him at school because he went to school sick on a freezing cold day. It was just not a good idea, but Kyo really pushed him to go, and then Yuki was like, okay, I'll go. But it was not a very wise choice on his part. So then the endurance run happens, and one of my favorite parts about this whole endurance run thing is when Hana is running alongside Toru, and she gets so dramatic when she drops out of the race and is like, I can't do it anymore. She goes to the ground and is like, Toru, go on without me. She's so dramatic about it. I just found that part so funny because honestly, that would be me. I hate running. I mean, I hate exercise in general, so it kind of makes sense. But that is totally how I would react in her situation. So I relate to Hana in that way. So Haru is introduced in this volume, and that's Haru, and he is the cow. I love Haru so much. He is so swoon-worthy, and I really, really love his character. He runs into Toru at the endurance run, and then when Yuki and Kyo catch up to them, Haru challenges Kyo to a fight. And Haru is very calm at first. He's usually very calm, but then there's that other side to him, which is Black Haru, and that's his side that is super mean, violent, and crazy, and sometimes actually kind of perverted. So that side of him is always so funny. He randomly just goes berserk on Kyo, and Toru is like, what the heck is going on? This guy was so nice. This doesn't even seem like the same person. He is just a crazy character, but he is so intriguing, and I really love his story throughout this book, especially his story involving Rin in the later volumes. I'm so happy to see their relationship again because they're one of my favorite couples of this series. So Yuki collapses. He is coughing. is very, very sick because he has problems breathing. He has asthma, so because he was sick and it's a cold day, of course he's going to collapse. And so to bring them home, they can't take a taxi because they were afraid he was going to transform since he is sick. That was at risk. So Haru gets the idea to turn into a cow and carry him on his back. And so what he says to Toru before that is he tells her, like, it's a good thing you're so cute, and then he hugs her. I love that. He is just, he's such a flirt sometimes, but Toru was just like, oh my god, she was like so flustered, and then he turns into a cow. A cute, cute cow. And then they carry Yuki home, and what I was thinking that whole time is, how did people react to seeing a cow carrying a person on its back just down the street? What would you think if you saw that? I mean, it's not every day you see a cow outside of a farm or country setting just walking the streets. Like, that had to look pretty suspicious. One funny part about this volume is when Toru has realized she has left her stuff at school because they had to take Yuki home all of a sudden. And so Shigure offers to go get her stuff, and she's like, no, 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 that's too much trouble, but like, he insists on doing it. And then Toru is like, he's so selfless, this is so kind of him. And then in his head, all Shigure is thinking of seeing the high school girls. That is the main reason he wants to go. He is such a creep and a weirdo, but like in a good way. I don't know if it's a good way to be like pretty much a pedophile in that way, but he is just so funny. Here's Toru thinking so highly of him, but really he's just going to see young girls. Kind of creepy, but hilarious at the same time. Toru and Haru do have a conversation after they put Yuki to bed, and one interesting thing that Haru tells her is that Yuki and Kyo have been getting along, which is weird because you would think they haven't been getting along because all they do is fight and argue, but Haru explains that when they would be at family gatherings, the intensity between those two would be so strong they wouldn't even talk to each other, but they'd like glare at each other and wouldn't talk at all. And so that made all family gatherings so intense because you could just feel that rivalry between them. But then he says that now that they are actually talking, that kind of feels like they're getting along more. Like, at least they're talking things out. And he also mentions is that it's probably because you're here. And I do believe that. I think Toru has already softened a lot of the Soma's lives, have made them feel so much better. She just has that effect on people. And so I can also see how she has really calmed Yuki and Kyo, and um, because of that, helped them to open up to each other more. But then again, they still argue and fight, but at least they're actually talking to each other, and I think that's the point that Haru was trying to get across. So we get insight into Haru's character and his backstory when it comes to Yuki, which was so interesting because when you think of the Zodiac, all you think of is the feud between the cat and the rat, but what you don't think of is the feud between the cow and the rat, because the rat rode on the back of the cow to the banquet, so the cow feels like the rat used him. And because of that, everyone would make fun of Haru when he was younger, saying that he was stupid to let the rat ride on his back to the banquet, like he used you. And when Haru was a child, that really got to him. It made him feel so insecure. It made him feel like what people were saying, like he was really stupid. So he loathed Yuki. He hated him because Yuki was the rat. He felt like Yuki was his rival because the rat used the cow. And he would never talk to Yuki, but until one day when he comes across Yuki at the Soma estate, and he just lets it all out, saying that he hates him, that he's mad that because of him people call him a fool. And after he says that, Yuki is like, but are you really a fool? And I think what he was getting at by telling him that is that the people think the cow is a fool, but Haru isn't the cow. He is the cow, but he is still just Haru. Like, who he is has nothing to do with what the rat did to the cow. He's not stupid because of that. Only the cow is stupid, but Haru himself is not. And he says, no, I'm not a fool, because he believes that. And then Yuki says, you know, I thought so. And that it's in that moment that Haru comes to admire Yuki. And throughout the years, this beautiful relationship develops between them that I love so much. I love how much Haru loves and appreciates Yuki. Whenever Yuki is like in the room or Yuki is coming to him, he like gets happy in the best way. And I love how he goes up to him and just like grabs his shirt and looks up at him. It is just like the cutest thing. I love how Haru is just so weak for Yuki. It's just so cute. I love their relationship. So when Yuki wakes up, Haru whispers to Toru, call him by his first name, because Toru believes like she hasn't left that much of an impact on these Somas. She doesn't believe that she's really that special to them, but by calling him by his first name, that's something that is like a next step, because she usually calls him Yuki-kun, so she's just leaving off the honorific, and that means that it's kind of means that they have more of like an intimate relationship. So when he wakes up and she calls him Yuki, he blushes and turns into a rat because he's so overwhelmed with the feeling that she called me by my first name. That was really cute. I mean, all she did was call him by his first name, but it's like such a special step in their relationship. So Valentine's Day happens in this volume, and turns out Kyo really hates Valentine's Day. He didn't even know that Valentine's Day was coming up. He didn't even check the calendar for God knows why. He just didn't realize it was Valentine's Day. So when he finds out, he is like, I need to go on a journey. I need to get out of town. And I'm like, at first, I was like, why do you need to run away from Valentine's Day? The reason why is because Kagura is all over him during Valentine's Day. She is just like attacking him, loving all over him, and he does not like that. So we find out why, and you know, I really don't blame him for wanting to run away. The topic of the Zodiac members not relating to their animals in the way that they are their own person comes up again when Shigure is having this conversation with Kyo about his feud with Yuki, and Kyo insists that he hates him and he'll always hate him. But then Shigure says, you speak as if you're obligated to hate him, but your eyes tell a different story. They tell me that you're afraid to find out. And that goes along with what I said before. Like, it seems like some of the members of the Zodiac are obligated to have hateful relationships toward each other, or are obligated to love each other, just because that's how the dynamic with the Zodiac animals are. But they're still their own people, so Kyo doesn't have to hate Yuki, and Yuki does not have to hate Kyo. It's just that they're so blind to the tradition that the cat and the rat are enemies, that they don't put in the effort to find out if they actually hate each other as Yuki and Kyo, and not the cat and the rat. So that was interesting, and it was also thought-provoking what Shigure said, that, you know, you're afraid to find out. It looks like you just don't want to find out. So it leads you to wonder, is Kyo really not like Yuki? He just doesn't want to find out. But like, if they weren't the cat and the rat, would they get along if the curse wasn't even there? I love Shigure's editor. She is so unstable. She's constantly going off on Shigure for not finishing his manuscript, and she's so dramatic. She cries when like Shigure is not working on his projects. I love her so much. She kind of represents me in some ways. Like, I will get anxious over everything, and when Shigure is not working, she gets very upset and cries, and then Shigure is just like, doesn't have a care in the world. So Momiji offers to take Toru on a spa vacation, and of course, Toru being Toru is like, no, I can't accept, it's too much. And then Shigure is like, well, it's not like he's taking you to Paris, it's just a spa retreat. And I'm like, that is so true. Like, a spa is nice, but, you know, he could have taken you to somewhere a lot nicer. I mean, a spa really isn't that big of a deal. So she decides to go, and then Momiji asks Kyo and Yuki if they will go, and Yuki says he'll go, but Kyo is like, I don't think so, because I don't want to hang out with Yuki. Then it's brought up that Shigure got a phone call from her grandfather saying that she hasn't paid for her school trip, and that leaves the Somas to be very confused because she works all the time. Like, she should be able to pay off her school trip, but then they realize the reason that she has no money is because she spent Valentine's chocolates on them, because she's that sweet. And then Kyo was like so pissed at her for doing that. He's like, why would she give gifts when she needs to focus on herself? Like, he's angry, but at the same time, it's because he cares for her and doesn't want her to be broke just because she's been giving gifts to them. And then, this is a part I love, and I love this part in the anime too. It's when Momiji tells the story of the Foolish Traveler, which, long story short, the story goes that there was this traveler who would give his belongings to anyone who asked. No matter what anyone asked for, he was always super nice and gave his things away. And then it got to the point where he had given away his body parts, so there was just his head left. The last part he gave away was his eyes. And so the troll who took his eyes left him a gift, and all the gift was a note that said "fool" on it. And the traveler was just crying because he's like, no one's ever given me anything. I've been giving stuff to everyone. I've never gotten a gift. And then he dies. And so Momiji relates that to Toru because he tells them that Toru gives gifts. She's a very giving person because it makes her feel good, and she's never expected anything in return. And Momiji views that as a beautiful thing and really makes Kyo and Yuki understand how she has joy in giving people things, which was a really cool relation to the story. I like that story and how it applies to Toru's character. So after this story, Kyo decides to give her a gift, and so he promises her that he will go to the spa because she really wanted him to go, and this leaves her so happy. She is just thanking him and thanking him. She's so grateful, and it reminded me of the traveler, how he cried when someone finally gave him a gift after he had been giving things and not getting anything back. And I think Kyo realizes that it's just like the story, and he just smiles at her and tells her how special she is. Oh my gosh, that part gives me so many feels. I love that part so much. I just love whenever Kyo really softens up, and it's always around Toru. Always. I love how their relationship grows, and this is just the beginning of their relationship, but it's just such a beautiful relationship that I've really enjoyed seeing grow throughout this series. I just loved this part. So they get to the spa, and there they meet the hostess there, who is also another unstable character. She is really crazy. She apologizes constantly and is always so over the top whenever she is faced in a situation that either angers her or makes her sad. She's just really funny. I enjoyed her in the anime too, but she is just always really unstable, to the point where sometimes it is kind of scary. So when they get to their room, Momiji tells Toru that he's going to go into the baths with her. And Toru's like, okay, that's fine, because she does not realize that he is pretty much her age. He's like a year or two younger. And Kyo is like, what the heck are you thinking? He can't go in a spa with you. And Toru's like, but he's so little, it shouldn't matter that much. And they're like, what the heck are you talking about? They don't realize that she thinks that he is like a elementary school student, but he's actually close to their age. And then Momiji says, okay, but we'll still sleep together, and Toru allows it, and they're like, whatever. He does not get it that it's inappropriate for him to be sleeping and bathing with her. A sweet part between Yuki and Toru is when Yuki gives his gift to Toru, because he also realizes that Toru gives so much and doesn't get anything in return, so he gives her a gift, and that is a ribbon for her hair. a hair ribbon or hair bow. And that was really sweet of him. And then Toru views all those boys of the Soma family as princes. She's like, they're just so sweet. I'm like, yes, of course they're sweet to you, because who wouldn't? You're the most sweetest, cutest girl ever. Like, of course they're going to be sweet and like just dote on you. So I like how she's feels special now, and how they've made her feel so comfortable and so special. And I believe that is where the manga ends. It left off on the spa retreat, and then it picks up from there in the next volume, which I'll be talking about right now, but I'll be including it in the next episode because I think this vlog is pretty close to a half hour long, or over a half hour long. So I'm gonna stop it right here, and I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog, and the next one will be coming out really soon. Right now I probably will be getting into volume 5 tonight, and I'm excited to read that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below for more books related videos, and I'll be back really soon. Bye!